Hello and welcome to episode number 701 of the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, your only host tonight. I am Adam Baum. Rody Rob is busy with some flight lessons. Kiera's off studying. And our boy Bionic Brian is currently on his way to do some full faith stuff. They have an event this weekend, and as their ring announcer, he kind of has to be there. So for episode 701 of the Marked Out Wrestling Podcast, you get yours truly to talk about Dynamite. We are talking about September 29th live from Rochester, New York. And tonight, it's kind of a different feel vibe for the show. Just an overall quick take. This is Brody's hometown. A lot of people holding up his sign all night. Obviously, his widow was there. His son was there. So this wasn't just your average Dynamite, but it also wasn't just like a tribute show that didn't have any substance. A lot of storylines moved along. We'll cover a bunch of stuff in quick hits at the end of the show, but I kind of got 6 topics to break down for you. I want to open with the main event because I think this one has the most discussion level to it. I do sort of have a co-host tonight on our YouTube live chat board. I got Christopher Stykeleather, Hall of Famer Christopher Stykeleather over there. He's just joining us, says, "What's up, everyone? I'll say the best moment was Cole versus Jungle Boy, Sammy versus Miro, and since it was a tribute match, the 16-man tag." Okay, you can call it a tribute match. I call it a lot too many people, but we'll get ahead of ourselves. What I was saying, though, at the beginning there, is it just had a good feel. The way the show flowed tonight, it didn't feel forced in parts. It felt like we're gonna be a little loose with it, but we're also gonna tell our story. And I want to start with that main event with Miro and Sammy, because this one was a little shocking to me. Not in the fact that I didn't think it was going to be a good match, because it was definitely a good match. These guys are very good working together. A lot of the move sets, a lot of the story that they were telling in the ring, from Miro frustrated that Sammy just won't go away, to Sammy making the comeback and eventually getting the pin. What's weird is Miro's undefeated. They mentioned it several times. I think it was 15-0. But he didn't really have a signature feud. He did that stuff with Kip and the Best Friends, and part of that's not his fault. I don't know where that story might have gone had Trent not gotten hurt. I don't think the Butler was always the end game, but maybe I'm wrong there. He did have that, and of course, the stuff that he did recently with Kingston and Fuego del Sol. But I never felt like they got to the level that they could have with Miro here as a champion. So it's shocking to me, not that they gave it to Sammy. Sammy's well deserving and anything like that, but just that Miro's title reign is already over. I like to compare it a little bit to FTR's title reign. They came in white hot, got all the way to the pinnacle, which is the championship belts. And then their feud was just kind of cut short in favor of an almost year-long Bucks run. And I might as well bring it up here since I'm covering it quick hits. Anyway, I did like FTR saying how they reset and kind of owning up to, they've fallen a little bit. But Miro here, undefeated. Kingston, Fuego. Miro was off TV for a little while. I kind of wonder, and it's a weird wonder because he absolutely looked healthy tonight, but I kind of wonder if there was something wrong with him. If he's hurt, if he's nursing an injury. I did look right before we went on air on Twitter, and Miro had tweeted, he said that he will talk to his God. So I don't think the Redeemer character is over. I think that they're possibly going to use this no longer being in the title picture to, I guess, transform that character into its next level or send it to where its natural direction goes. Stike says, do you think Miro losing his title might be the catalyst to bring CJ Perry in. CJ Perry, of course, is his wife Lana, and I don't know. I don't know that that's what Miro is missing here. I think there's a possibility that Miro just, has to do a little bit of a reset, maybe even a vengeful God thing. He's going by the Redeemer here. Maybe he's going to start redeeming himself. Maybe this is just the natural evolution of the character that it's going to take. I still question and head scratch him losing the title already. It felt like he could have gone further with it. It felt like they could have done more with it. And I believe now, what do we have? Cody as 2-time. We have Brody. We have Darby. We have Miro. Now we have Sammy. So we're on our 6th title reign with our 5th champion. Sammy's good. Overall, Soji says on the board, pretty good Dynamite. Another good Brody Lee themed episode. I said that in the open. The way that this was a tribute show, but also a Dynamite, the way they needed to have those moments, but also needed to tell their story for their overall audience, and to keep things moving. I thought that was both a class act and good, because you're honoring the guy in his hometown, and the show must go on. It's not all about him there. There was enough about him. There was enough tribute. Everything was perfect. And it made this, don't mean to be rude here, but it made this Dynamite that's kind of worthless, slammed in between Grand Slam and their anniversary show that's coming next week. It made it feel more important. Made it feel like it had a kind of better vibe. And that's the other reason why, and I'll close on this on the Miro Sammy, I didn't understand why they would save this for the anniversary show. That seems like just real logical booking to go Sammy Guevara on the 2-year anniversary of Dynamite. Sammy Guevara, the future of the company, won the title on the 2-year anniversary show. That makes a lot of sense to me as a moment in history. And you already have the Brody stuff going on here anyway. You don't really need to add to it. But I do think this was a hell of a main event. I do think this was a great match. It ended with the 6:30 senton. I know Fuego del Sol came out for a minute on the distraction. I know Sammy took advantage of the turnbuckle with Miro, which is, as the announcers put it, the irony there is that's how Miro defeated Kingston. But in any event, you have your new champion, Sammy. I'm very excited to see where he goes with this. I think he's grown beyond the inner circle to be just the guy there. And now that he's the champion, that's what excites me about where it could go from here, because he's outgrown his little brother status in the inner circle, similar to the way Randy Orton did when he became champ when he was in Evolution. Batista at the time was never champ, and Triple H was like, I'm in charge right now. So it could be interesting there. We'll find out later. Jericho's not around anyway tonight, though. We'll get to that in quick hits. So we started with the main event. Let's go back into the show opener. Now, it's very weird here, because I'm watching this opening match, and I'm like, there's no way any match the rest of the night is going to touch this. Miro and Sammy had a very good match. I still think Jungle Boy and Adam Cole's match of the night, but it's funny to me in a night where it was heavy tag trio match, even the 16-man match, when you have all those going on, to bookend it with just solid singles matches was probably brilliant on the booking. And that's why it felt like a little bit of a tribute show and a little bit of just a normal Dynamite. You can't go wrong in both those senses. So what we have is a little bit of Jungle Boy and Adam Cole really selling the fact that this is one of those matchups. It's not like later on in the night when Cody is fighting, Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. This is real. This are two legitimate, contenders to win here. Not contenders for any championship, but two legitimate wrestlers. These guys are treated as singles stars for the most part, even though they're part of factions. It's that weird line they toe with Jungle Boy that now start Dynamite before this show. Danimal's texting me how he thinks Jungle Boy is the top 10 wrestler anywhere right now, just anywhere. So that's not just you know something to throw around there. And he's quasi in the tag division, but he keeps getting out to do matches like this. I think this was one of those matches that we're gonna look back on and remember. Like there's gonna be some feud like for a championship between these two. I don't know, 2 years, something like that from now. It could be sooner if they introduce the trios belt, which I think they might. But regardless, this match just stood out. Some of the highlights, the simple finish. It's so simple, but effective. You have the ref kind of like, Adam Cole prevents himself from like knocking her down, which would be the normal way to do things. Just have the ref knocked out, but then you got to wait for him to come to. So what are you going to do there? Well, this is perfect. Oh, I didn't mean to. And then little hook with his foot in the back. It works against Paul White. It works against other people, but kick to the nuts. The surprising part for me was right before that when Jungle Boy kicked out of the Panama Sunrise. I thought that was over. I thought it was over right there. It felt like the ending. And when he kicked out, I was like, okay, here we go. Bottom line for me was this match just told such a good story. Now, here's where I get torn. Let me go to the board real quick. Stike says, Cole versus Jungle Boy was fantastic. I wouldn't mind seeing them in an Iron Man match. There should be some stuff like that coming. I think, it would be, if they could do the right feud, Stike, AEW would be so smart to figure it out, and it might be Daniel Bryan versus Kenny Omega too. But there is a Rampage, I believe, coming up that's going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match. And that's the only match. Rampage is 1 hour. You want to get everybody to try and tune in? You already had 5 stars with Kenny and Daniel Bryan, according to Meltzer. You already had everybody poop their pants over it. Hell, even I have to retract a little bit of my statements because I went back and watched it. And I think I was just so sour about what happened after the match that I don't even want to bring it up because I'm going to have to bring it up to close this other topic out. But regardless, I think that would be a very smart move to do that, just to have that. You've had, some matches go time limit draws and stuff like that. Stretch this one out if you really want to go to part 2. The end to Jungle Boy Adam Cole, though, is this. Everything that happens after this, the pin, doesn't need to happen here. If you want to have him come out later, you could go to commercial. You could have the MJF spot here, and then you could come back with the Elite in the MJF spot right before the main event. But here's a great match, singles, 2 guys showing that they can stand on their own. And what happens? 9 other dudes come out to join Adam Cole. Then we have, just to flash forward, not too far, but then we have all the other people that have to come out to make it even. It ended up being 9 versus 6. But we have to get out there. Oh, sorry. Not 9. It was 8. 8 and and it's 5.5 because one of those 6 was Marco Stunt. So 8 to 5.5 were the overall odds in the end. But they come out, we're the super elite. Carl Anderson's first to talk. He says to be elite, and he kisses everybody's ass in order. The Good Brothers, he kisses his own ass. Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, and he says they truly are the EVPs. Extremely violent people. I'm sure that's a t-shirt now already. And then at the end he goes, they're knocking Cutler. That was kind of fun. That was clever. Fine. Cole, who just finished wrestling, has to take the match. I told you I would beat Jungle Boy. I'm undefeated. What is he, like 3-0? What was funny here is he doesn't get to talk much because Cutler grabs the mic, and then whichever one, Buck number 1, yeah, I said that, hands the mic to Knock after kind of telling him he can't talk. So it's like, okay. And then the crowd is just chanting CM Punk. So you have everybody just losing their mind with the Punk chants. Well, I don't know if that was what Michael Nakazawa was supposed to do, like that was the whole thing or not. But thankfully, Kenny Omega comes to save him, just takes the thing. And Kenny goes into his whole promo about how his DM boxes are full of love, about how great the match was and blah, 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 blah. And he says, but Bryan Danielson, you didn't win. You have a 0 record in AEW. This kind of thought train right here is, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I kind of like it, the 0 spin on it. Hey, dude, if he was 0-1, you can be like, dude, you're 0-1. So I don't mind it here, and it works for Kenny Omega to be a little bit of the douche here. Let's see what the board says. Stike says, the damn Young Bucks had to come out to ruin it. Wonder where Callis was. Callis was missing. That's why when I said 9, I was mistaken. There was no Callis. Anyway, of course, Bryan Danielson's music hits because they're all chanting CM Punk until Kenny Omega shuts them down. So he has to talk about Daniel Bryan so that it turns into, Bryan Danielson. It turns into him coming down. He says, if you won't fight me, I'll fight any one of the Elite on Rampage. And Kenny says, well, why don't you fight now? He goes, because you'll never get a rematch there. And of course, Bryan Danielson got the no balls Omega chant to go. That's great. We can fight now, anyone. And what happens is Bryan Danielson says, I'm going to come down to the ring and then let's fight, but I'm not coming alone. So Q, Kaz, Jurassic Express, Christian, and despite those odds, BTE is out of there. Back to print some more t-shirts for the Super Elite or the Extremely Violent People, whichever shirt you want to sell. I'm sure they're already up there. And yeah, this results in an 8-man tag match next week. The one we thought that this is where they were going to go next. I told it to several people, but I'm not excited. And how you guys have turned Christian into just like the backdrop window dressing. This is fine for Jungle Boy. This is fine for Jurassic Express. This is fine for Kaz. It feels weird that Christian is just like, I'm a heavyweight champion right now. I actually beat that guy already. And here I am hanging out with Bryan Danielson. The only rationale I can think of here is that whenever Omega and Bryan Danielson might have their rematch, it's for the AEW Championship, and Christian may have animosity against that. And so he's like, dude, you overlooked me the whole time there. I'm not letting you win the championship. And he kind of makes the heel move. So it could be that. He says, like, Stike's thinking it's going to turn into Blood and Guts 2 feud. Okay, then get there. I don't think this needs to be an 8-man tag, slow crawl, whatever it is. If you're trying to strike while the iron's hot and you want to keep everybody abuzz and stuff like that, get right to it. Get right to it. Because Pinnacle and Inner Circle was long. It was long. And it was drawn out in weird ways. Promo after promo after promo. And what are you doing tonight? You're here for a promo. At least next week we have the 8-man tag. I guess is the way to look at it. What do you think, Steve? It's about what we normally get there. So, in any event, I think this is going to end up getting to something good. And Stike, if you're right, Blood and Guts could be awesome. But I don't know that it works so soon. I think they would have to do something else. and you just did Stadium Stampede, maybe they could introduce something new, some other type of match, or like I predict, is that this is just going to end up Kenny and Bryan Danielson, and the other three are going to fight for the inaugural, the other 3-on-3. The other six are going to fight for the inaugural and first to be the first trios champion, which will obviously be the Super Click. So that's why the Bucks drops the belts. Whatever. Let's go on to topic number 3 for it. Topic number 3, I do really like this team of Matt Sydal and Dante Martin. They're doing some really good tag work. It to me gives me a old school Paul London and Brian Kendrick kind of feel. Their chemistry, their moveset. Martin could be something special eventually. Right now, he's not the entire package. He kind of still belongs in the tag division, and maybe that's why they paired him with a veteran like Sydal while his brother's hurt. But this match is all about Cody, Lee Johnson, Brandy Rose, and of course Arn Anderson. Don't forget, well, you might already forgot if you're watching me live, but Rhodes on Top premiered tonight, and possibly it's about to go off air, so I'm gonna pick up viewers as that happens. But what was funny here is that the Cody boos continue from the crowd. The match ends when Lee Johnson tags himself in, and I don't mean like the normal like slap on your back tag. He grabs Cody by the trunks, pulls him back to the corner, and then tags himself in. And then he goes on to finish the match. Okay, clearly we're gonna put some friction here on the Nightmare family or whatever the hell that is on your neck, Cody. And Arn is the one who kind of like takes it to the next level here, because they must have a promo for Cody after the match, and he calls out Malachi Black, which causes Arn to just like, I don't know, must kill the queen, Major League, Naked Gun, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna brainwash him. It just set him off because Arn tells Cody to just stop talking, and he says, the difference between you and me is that if somebody tried to carjack me, I would pull out my Glock and blow his brains all over the cement or sidewalk or however he phrased it. And he goes, you, Cody, you would just say, please don't hurt me and let the guy take your car. Story time with Arn sometimes is hard, man, because I don't have any fucking clue what the point or parallel he was trying to make. It's just, Arn was just a kind of rambling old man. And then at the end, he kind of like, was just like, I gotta end this. Hey, Lee, you're the one who won tonight. I'm only going to coach winners. I'm with you. I'm not even 100% positive because the way Arn delivered it. Was that the end? Did he fire Cody? Like, I'm not going to be the coach anymore? Was it I don't know. Stike says, I noticed when Rhodes came out, Arn and Lee came out of the face tunnel, but Brandy came out of the heel tunnel. Wonder if she'll be the one to get Cody to turn heel. I think the fans are the ones that are going to get Cody to turn heel, Stike. They booed him literally just like you're supposed to when the fans are as good as the AEW fans in terms of like, chanting, giving that atmosphere. Heel hits, boo. Face hits, cheer. It's very simple. And right now, Cody is that match that the fans are doing that with. So I think it's just natural. And Cody's an arrogant douchebag, quite frankly, right now. And I don't know if he's purposely trying to get the heat or what, but it'll be interesting because I don't know that he can even go heel. He's got a brand new TV show where he's not going to be heel-ish. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So I want to talk about the 16-man tag match. And I can't talk about the 16-man tag match without first talking about how Bionic Brian lies. He swore, he told Colonel Bob, he told Rody Rob, he told Kiera, he told the Danimal, he told all, the cohorts of the MOWP family. He even told Stike. Stike, I think, mentioned at the very start of the show. He lied to all of us. He said Bray Wyatt was going to be here. Bray Wyatt's 90-day or whatever the hell it is supposed to expire on October 29th, which is a month from now. But Brian said that and he showed his work. He did share an article there that said that Bray Wyatt could forego money and basically violate that clause. I don't know. He also said there was a chance that they could tease, somebody joining tonight. I don't know about that. They did the normal Dark Order. Had to have their breakup moment. It was good to see. Let's see. It was Anna Jay. It was Amanda Huber, and it was Tay Conte. Come out with -1 when Evil Uno had the breakdown, and Evil Uno had to just kind of walk off and have his little pissy party, which of course was a bump that wasn't even supposed to happen from Alex Reynolds. It was one of those that the enemy caused, but Evil Uno didn't know. You got Colt there. You got Stu Grayson trying to stop him. This is supposed to be them all getting along for the night in tribute to John. And what do? They're having internal fighting. So Amanda sets them straight. They go back. As soon as they come back to the ring, it's a big spot fest of everybody. So we've had 2 brawls. Now we're gonna go crazy spot festing. At least they kept track of who was legal at the end, so they could get the pin. But was it John Jewel? I'm not even sure his name. That got all the moves against them. That was just insane. Hugs everywhere. Good celebration after the fact. I'm not sure why Orange Cassidy was shoehorned in here. But I sure as shit know one thing, Brian. There was no fucking Bray Wyatt. There was no teasing of no Bray Wyatt. He wasn't anywhere near here. You were so wrong. And I'll tell you when you get back from Full Faith. But until then, somebody's just farting off camera. So we'll figure that out later. Let's see. What did I miss in the notes there? The spots, since this was, as we were talking about earlier, a little bit of a tribute match, I could forego the spot-heavy stuff here. But what could you possibly really do with 16 men in a match? 16. I don't even want to read you all the names. But 16. You have Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans, which I guess is why Orange Cassidy's shoehorned in, having a hair versus hair match on Rampage. But otherwise, what's this felt too much. It felt too much. Orange Cassidy was inserted because of -1. Okay, so -1 must have suggested it. Cool. Matt Hardy was shitting on Rochester at the beginning. Matt Hardy's little brand, I don't know what's going on with this, but he is leading a NWO size version of the Job Squad right now that he calls HFO, for the Hardy Family Orifice. All right, I got one more topic. I got a couple things I want to talk about in quick hits, and then we'll wrap this stuff up. Last topic is going to be about MJF. He comes out and basically, told the crowd, hey, I deserve to be treated better. I deserve to be getting more opportunities. Blah, 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 blah. And if you don't, I'll call Bruce Pritchard. I don't know why they wouldn't just go after Vince. Or find a way for him to say Vince McMahon without actually saying Vince McMahon. He goes, maybe I can make a call. Hey there, pal. Or something like that, or quote a Vinceism or something. The name dropping of Bruce Pritchard seems weird. And Punk on commentary, he said, everybody has Pritchard's number. That's nothing. So this doesn't, I don't know if this was throwing shade to MJF, getting pushed by Samoa Joe in that promo we've all seen from his NXT days, the first run of Joe in NXT. But regardless of the fact, I don't think you need to say Pritchard here. I think you got whatever you want. You got Callis right there. Isn't he technically on the kayfabe side? I don't know. Maybe no, he got fired. I believe Brian said. I don't watch Impact. But you have other options there. He could say, "I'll go to Impact. We got a deal where I could work there instead of your dates." You know, he could do other ways that would promote kind of within. Stike says he should have gone with Kevin Dunn. I don't think he could. I don't think he should have done either unless he's going to say Vince or find a way to say Vince without saying Vince, like the Voodoo Kin Mafia did in the TNA days. You know, what is Voodoo Kin Mafia? Some stupid ass shit they made up because it's VKM. It's that simple. You don't have to go crazy like that. Keep it simple. Just go, yeah, the boss in Connecticut. I could just give him a call. You know, you don't have to go crazy. But Darby comes out and interrupts him. Says, you know, if you're number one, you're the Michael Jordan, and I'm the Scottie Pippen, and all the other comparisons, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig that they gave. How come I'm the one that's had a championship and you haven't? It's natural. It's a natural thing, and then MJF has to take his ball and go home. He gets kind of pissy there, and to think of himself as a number two. It'll be interesting where this one goes. This is a perfect opportunity, though, for if there was kind of an authority type of figure to have the heel be antagonizing him to put him in weird situations. I don't know. It just seems natural. Instead, obviously, what we're going to get is MJF and Wardlow and Sting and Darby is what I see in our future. My crystal ball, what does it tell me? It tells me that's what's going to happen. So I got a couple more topics I want to talk about. And then I also want to, we'll do quick hits real quick before we get to that. Because I want to read this one article in a minute from Cassidy Haynes that I think it was Brian shared with me. It might have been one of the other smarter people I talked to about wrestling. But it could have been Brian too, because he didn't write it. He just shared it. So it's possible. So quick hits. Let's get to them. First one, Andrade. He comes backstage and he says, you know, it's been a long time since you guys have defended your AAA Tag Team Championships, calling out the Lucha Brothers. Lucha Brothers, we forget, but they got two straps on their shoulders now because they got the AAA and they got the AEW. So it's weird that Andrade would call them out for the AAA, but he's wrestled there. It just makes sense to work it there, but I don't know if they're teasing something bigger or a one-off of someone just joining him and they're not gonna do anything with it. But he said he knows other luchadors. He said he's gonna get a partner. When I say he, it was one of the translators, I believe, that actually said it. But he said, I know many luchadores, and well, I'm all for it. But it seems weird that Andrade, who just came off the Pac feud and won it, would reduce himself to the tag division. It was similar with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page when they made Men of the Year. I had a kind of head scratcher moment. And Stike says on the last topic, I swear if MJF gets jobbed to Darby, Cornette will have a heart attack. They got to do something with MJF. And I think the repercussions, not to get off topic, but Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Adam Cole, I think their debuts truly set back the maturation of character and push of MJF and Hangman Page. I believe that they were destined for other things at this stage. Possibly MJF could have been champion by now via beating Hangman. Hangman could have beaten Kenny by now, you know, and now be facing number one contender MJF. It didn't happen. It hasn't happened. Probably won't happen. But it feels weird that Andrade would take a backseat here to go to the tag division. Feels weirder that it would be to challenge for the tag titles of a different federation. I'm sure if Brian would hear, he said, yeah, Adam, that's pretty petty. Yeah, it might be. I'm not against the match. I definitely want to see the match, but this felt like, if you're doing a backstage thing, this felt like a program. So it's more than just a match. So we'll see where it goes. The next quick hit I got is Ruby, the vignette backstage with Britt. She's Britt, basically her part of it was back of the line, and Ruby is I'm coming back. I'm gonna get there. So this is why you shouldn't rush into this. This should have been a longer con, because clearly people were into this match. Clearly people love both wrestlers. Even though Britt says the only reason they cheered for Ruby No, that was funny, is because they liked the song. They weren't cheering for her. They were just singing along. So that's an interesting take. It's very heelish. The thing is on paper, that's just natural. That's just a natural thing to say, oh, hey, they only like you because of your song. But the way Britt Baker delivers it is, I don't know, next level of ooze on it. Just ooze on it. To be honest, I forgot about Andrade because I haven't seen him on TV lately. Yeah, Andrade got screwed a little bit by the Pac being out and not being part of that card on All Out with the travel thing. He was 100% ready to go. Honestly, I think that was, to me, a bigger difference in AEW than WWE. WWE would have shoehorned somebody into that feud, just like they did with Carmella when Bailey and Bianca couldn't happen. On the Banks, that was Becky. Well, I get off topic. Let's go back a second. Next quick hit. We got a trios match. We have Darby, Kingston, and Mox, accompanied by Sting. He's the J.J. Dillon of that foursome. And they're fighting Bear Country. Or, as Punk asked, is it Bear County? Punk was making a lot of jokes tonight. Bear County, he says someone always gets left out in a three-way, talking about the triple threat match for Friday on Rampage. And when I think it was JR or Tony or Excalibur, I don't know, there's 4 fucking commentators. I can't keep track. One of them said that -1 has gotten real close to Ty Conti and Anna Jay, and Punk just said, smart kid. I mean, nothing Punk said was bad. I laughed every time, but it was just like, I felt like almost like he was that Dolph Ziggler's stand-up comedy show doing open mic. Hey, yeah, I'll throw you a bone, Dolph. I'll get up on stage. Anyway, Leo Rush had a vignette here saying that Tony Khan wants to throw money at him to bring him back. Cool. I don't mind Leo Rush. I think he's a great talker. I think he's a good worker. I don't have anything else to say. Tony Lopez says, Bear no Charmin. Yeah, there was so many good ones. Stike is saying this match should have taken place on the anniversary show. I don't disagree, because I felt like this match was just to get Kingston, Mox, Sting, and Darby on TV tonight, even though Darby was going to appear later on. The other thing I thought was funny is they have the camera on Sting, unable to get over the barricade, and then he sees Darby just walk around the side and kind of laughs to himself like, oh, I'm supposed to go there, and he walks to the other side. And the reason I feel like this was fluff and agree with Stike on the anniversary show thing is because at the end they purposely set up the Scorpion Death Drop. Sting wasn't even in the match. They just wanted to make sure, hey, fans, you want to see this? We got it. Let me hear. Oh, we did it. Yay. That's why it's in quick hits. FTR backstage, they're back to being focused. When I think it was Cash got cut, they were, I mean, that was a serious part. That you can, if you go back and watch the footage, Dax reacts like he should, like, oh shit, that's not supposed to happen. What the fuck is going on? How is he bleeding? What did I miss? Because it happened so quick. Like even us, the viewers, had to go back and like, what? So it was really hard to kind of see there. And they were talking about how they lost their focus before that. during the Pinnacle and Inner Circle stuff. So FTR's back. They got the greatest mind ever, Tully Blanchard, tag team guru, at their side. Quick hit next. Well, on the anniversary show, Hikaru Shida goes for 50 versus Thunder Rosa. So she's got to beat Thunder Rosa to get her win number 50. As we all know, Jungle Boy was the first to get 50 wins. On the male side, Sheeta's going to be the first woman if she can get the win here. What's funny is I felt this little vignette was better than anything they did during Sheeta's title run with Sheeta. Just saying. Another quick hit. Bunny and Ford, Penelope Ford, that is, lost to Anna Jay and Tai Conti. It was a win by submission. -1 came out to celebrate. That's when Punk made that comment I said a second ago. So that all happened. 2 more quick hits. Dan Lambert cut some promo again, but propped up Jericho in his backhanded way. He keeps cutting this kind of same promo. And I don't know if he's listening to podcasts that are against AEW as kind of fuel. Because if you go on Twitter and say, anything negative, they're going to just come at you. I've said so many things on Twitter in the past year, and just people everywhere start commenting on something. I'm like, dude, seriously? The only thing that the Bucks do is the only thing the Bucks sell are T-shirts. So that it's not in the ring. So why? But you say something like that on Twitter, all these people are like, well, why do you watch? It's like they're the brainwashed cult of AEW sometimes on IWC. I watch the matches. I watch people in the audience. Those people look like they're having fun and a good time. The people on IWC that are defending it don't seem like they're having a good time. They feel like they're like, I gotta attack this guy. Can't we all get along? Tony Lopez says Bobby Fish and Leo Rush are elite. There you go. Put Bobby Fish with Luchasaurus and let Jungle Boy go do his solo thing. I'm fine with that, Tony. I know that's not what you said, but that's what I'm going to interpret. Dan Lambert was the same in Impact. The only difference was he had Bobby Lashley instead of Men of the Year. Okay, so he's done this shtick before, because he very clearly has made some of his comments were very much targeting what felt like the anti-AEW sentiment to me. But if he has a history of that as the character that way, great. He did point out that Jericho was dead because Men of the Year killed him. Scorpio took the mic, reminded everybody, hey, I was one of the first champions here, blah, blah, blah. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with this promo, okay? But whoever structured this tonight with the pass the mic from Lambert to Scorpio Sky to Ethan Page, they saved the best for last, because I took notice of Ethan Page from this promo tonight. I thought it was that good. He was tired, being overlooked. He's got nothing since he came over here. It's hard earning 2 black belts. The way he delivered that promo was so real. And to me, it invoked a level of emotion, like on the level that some of Mox's, deep cut promos, when he kind of digs in and adds a bunch of beyond kayfabe stuff about himself, to make it real. And I just was like, okay. Because to me, only thing I know about Ethan Page is the stuff Brian showed me, which was Karate Man, where he's somehow fighting himself. And Brian was like, yeah, this is not even what's supposed to be happening. This is how they sent him off, and this is why they had some fights and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. But he didn't make me go, man, when Ethan Page showed up, he didn't make me go, wow, I'm so excited he's here. Because I wasn't. I didn't know who he was. And what Brian did show me wasn't exciting. Tonight I saw a side of Ethan Page that I went, okay, I'm in. I've always liked Scorpio Sky, but this is different here. Ethan Page is fantastic. I just wish he wasn't put in this situation. That's a mistake. Yeah, I mean, the way he cut that promo tonight made me think a little bit like, hey, dude, why are you in the tag division? It's like when Miro was there at the beginning. You guys should review Dark Side of the Ring. Love y'all work, bros. Thanks, Tony. Yeah, we covered 2 weeks ago. We covered the plane ride from hell. We'll probably talk this coming Monday about the Canyon one. We didn't get to it this past Monday because we were doing Extreme Rules reactions for some reason. I think it was because we promised it to our patreon.com/MOWP audience, and we didn't deliver, so we had to make up for it. But the reality is that we didn't deliver because it's Extreme Rules, and there wasn't anything extreme about it. There was that one match in the end, but who cares? It wasn't quite the feel that it's there. It felt like they were more grasping at straws, trying to pull some stuff out of their butt. Especially when like Liv and Carmella is one of the highlight matches of the night. That's a stretch. And when Jeff Hardy's getting cheered like he's full on Team Extreme days, it was crazy. I don't have the full details on this, but I was reading up on it before I went on air here. Apparently Jade Cargill got upset with a fan's artwork and ripped it up. Apparently this has been spun a couple different ways, and I'm not sure which is true. That's why I'm not positive on it. That Jade was offended by the picture because this person is not a good artiste, and that's why she ripped it up. I think even Jade herself said she was upset that she thought this person was stealing her likeness. I think this was a fan. From what I could tell, I think this is just a fan that brought a picture that wanted to show, hey, look, I drew a picture of you. And Jay just overreacted because it was not a very flattering picture. It looked like I don't know the artist age and stuff because some of these tweets were deleted. It was very hard to follow. But it could have been a young kid is what the drawing looked like to me. But I might not even be looking at the right drawing. Shit's out of whack sometimes in IWC. And the way everybody took weird sides on that one is why it was so hard to follow. Go watch Ethan and Josh Alexander, known as the North. You'll see great stuff. That's from Stike. Thank you, bro. Jade Cargill probably looked like a dude on that drawing. LOL. Yeah, dude, she actually looked like olive oil on the drawing that I saw, which again, I'm not sure if it's the official one. But, you know, for someone who works out and has a physique like her to be then given like the olive oil arms, I don't know. It looked like also a young person had drawn it. Anyway, the last thing, and I'm going to have to read this a little bit. I want to kind of bring you in. This is what Brian shared earlier today with me. And this is from, I want to cite it right, this is from Cassidy Haynes and bodyslam.net. But Cassidy Haynes, Brian says, is pretty credible. Sources within AEW have told Cassidy Haynes that creative was essentially completely taken away from the executive vice presidents, as basically everything now comes through or down to Tony Khan. You kind of hear it in kayfabe where they say, oh, Tony's making this match or whatever next week, but now apparently everything's kind of going through him. AEW talents are allowed and encouraged to pitch ideas, give suggestions, but creative is absolutely Tony Khan's prerogative now. At one point, Cody Rhodes was the only EVP to even regularly attend office meetings and was the only one that was kind of an office regular. But that role, as well as his input with creative, has greatly diminished. Matt Jackson's EVP role has been assisting his wife, Dana, with merchandise. Hey, t-shirt guys sell t-shirts. It's better than not selling wrestling moves. And Nick Jackson is focused on handling BTE. Yeah, you go do your YouTube sketch comedy show and you go with your wife and make t-shirts. That's probably the best use for the bucks, in all honesty. So I have no problem with that part. And then it was stated that Kenny Omega is very hands-on with AEW games and the gaming side of things, as well as his role of helping to put together women's matches. So he's still apparently involved in the women's divisions, and there's no secret about the gaming stuff. He talks about it all the time. So I don't think that was anything stretch here. I was told by sources, this is Cassidy's, I was told by sources that basically they are EVPs in name only in 2021. They no longer have final say in creative or talent hiring, any of them. Tony Khan pulled back the reins and took that power away from all of them. It was also stressed that sources say Cody doesn't really have much of a relationship with any of the EVPs anymore. The others are still great friends, but Cody is very much on the outside looking in. So Cody has kind of gotten the real life Hangman treatment of the kayfabe, with the Elite kind of parted ways with Hangman or kind of left him in the dust there in kayfabe, but apparently Cody's the same. I know that there were some articles and dirt sheets about Cody having some disagreements when they were making booking decisions. And maybe this is why Tony had to take back over. But what I see is that we've quickly gotten to a point of what all the AEW fans have said they like so much about AEW and don't like about WWE. It seems like every day that line blurs more and more. Because my takeaway from this is very simple. Kenny's focused on Kenny. The Bucks are focused on either a YouTube channel or t-shirts. Cody is got no more power, so he's kind of like, and I got kids, and I got a show, or I got a kid, I got a show, I got all this other stuff. Fuck it. You guys can do whatever with or without me. I'm not gonna be tied to your successes now, or I don't know. I feel like Cody would do some weird sanctimonious thing here. And then you have the obvious Tony Khan. He is the son of a very successful person, and he inherited most of this, and now he's trying to step out of that limelight and brand himself. All you have to do is pull him up on Twitter and look at what he wrote as his bio. The man has so many damn titles that I don't know how he could spread himself so thin, but maybe most of those are just titles, and this is where he's at right now full-time, making all these decisions. But is he the one that should be making all these decisions? It's great to sign all these people, but where are you going to go with them? You have Andrade now in the tag division just kind of hanging out there. Hangman, I know his wife just had a baby and he probably wants to be there or whatever, but I don't think that would cost him to be out of the title picture the way he was. And if they were going to do it that way, they would have kept him. Adam Cole, long-term booking, he's a singles guy and he needs to break up with BTE at some point. So when does it happen? Does he screw over Kenny? Is that the first shots fired? Or is he just, he truly is now there in Cody's place because Cody's beyond kayfabe ousted of the EVP4. It's very interesting, I kind of said this to Brian and he disagreed with me, but 4 egos of those size can't just run the show. And I don't want to suppose that Tony Khan has turned into Vince McMahon earlier than expected. I think the writing's on the wall that Vince's way is successful. Vince has lost his goddamn mind down the stretch here, but you can't have the boys all making decisions. You have to have somebody that's in charge. Now, other people think that Tony Khan's still one of the boys and he's still going to let them affect him, even if he has final say. And that's fine. I know he wants to be smart, but that's what it is. Oh, Tony on the board's agreeing with me right here. Tony Lopez is. He says Tony Khan is using Vince's Attitude Era formula. It's smart. Yeah. Like that WCW made some waves. Eric Bischoff made some waves. And Vince had to combat them. So what are they doing? Well, guess what, Vince? It's harder to play against yourself. We're going to do what you did. We're going to make the grass greener on our side. We're going to dangle bigger carrots out there. They have so many different things going on that it's just weird. Stike points out with Andrade, he says maybe the Flair situation screwed him. I don't know. He still has another translator, even if he got rid of Chavo. The end game there is there's not enough for the current roster to be relevant at all times with 3 hours a week on Dynamite and Rampage. And I don't even watch Rampage. I'll follow it and look at the results, but I don't have an extra hour to commit to it. I don't watch 3 hours of Raw. I don't watch 2 hours of SmackDown. I follow all of it, but I don't watch any of it except for Dynamite. And the singles matches that Dynamite gives us are great. And some of the feuds are good, but they're kind of just promo till we get to the match. And I get you got to make time. Tonight they put CM Punk on commentary to get him out there because they didn't have any. I mean, CM Punk being reduced to commentary is proof positive that you have too many talents to book them every night. Take a page from NXT, the old NXT, back when it was really good with Undisputed just getting started, like their first year. You didn't have to be on TV every week. They only had an hour or two show. I can't remember if that was a transition from 1 hour to two, but they didn't have to have everybody on TV. They let it breathe. They let storylines go. They would put a little vignette. Hey, next week, you'll see Undisputed. They're off this week, but you'll see them next week. Maybe that was easier because you had the live crowd for taping, but you got Dark and Elevation to literally do dark matches with. So you can still give the live crowd what they want without having to go here. The whole thing is just, it could be better. Tony Lopez says NXT Ladies Night sucked. Yeah, from last night, that's a shame because the NXT Women's Division has always been one that was great. Willa Sport Rally says, hey, love, I'm from the UK. Glad Kiera Hogan is all elite now. Monday she got the contract. She was great in Impact as Fire and Flava and Tag Champs. Good for her. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Got to look at the screen here. Will Rawless Sport. Totally. Kiera Hogan is a big signing and acquisition. One of our board members actually shared that with me on Monday. Jason Sklenar, and Brian and I were wondering what Rob's take would be on this because Rob has been very critical of the women's division in AEW, and Kiera Hogan is he's a fan of hers, but she brings another level of credibility. And check the tape like a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 now. I have said, and it was a shame that they only gave them I know it was because it's kind of Brody tribute night. They had to put Conti and Anna Jay together. I get that, in a women's match, but Dynamite still only ever has one women's match. Your division is too good now. You have too many good players in that division to only have one match a week on Dynamite and then get another on Rampage. Like, this is the problem with having such a good roster. At the beginning, nobody missed when Hybrid 2 wouldn't be on the show for a month. Nobody missed it. Who cares? That's fine. They're on Dark, and then they show up here. Bear Country. I kind of forgot about Bear Country until tonight. It's fine. But you got to find a way to balance your big names. You can't just have Andrade walk backstage every week. You can't have FTR just kind of you have to find that balance. Where was any of Inner Circle tonight except for Sammy Guevara? Like, wouldn't that be a moment to come out and celebrate? They did. And I guess I didn't watch Roads to the Top because apparently they did more with the commercial break that I'll find out later. But what I'm saying is you have other things you could do. Maybe this was the night to not have Darby and MJF. Give MJF the night off. Darby's already come out for a match. Doesn't need to come back out. I don't know. They need to find the balance because catering is getting very, very full in AEW. And I hope Tony Khan can juggle it. I don't have that level of faith in him. I think it's a bad sign that the EVPs got whatever power they might have had taken away. With the exception of, it sounded like in that article by Cassidy Haynes, Kenny Omega and the women's division, which is cool as the one exception because Kenny can't book himself. Well, never mind, I got to knock on wood. I bet you there could be a time that Kenny might book himself as the women's champion somehow. Who knows? Santana Garrett is also at AEW on Monday's show, a backstage segment. She's not signed yet, though totally underused in WWE 2021 Women's Royal Rumble. Hope she gets a chance. That's awesome. That's so true. Brian's a big Santana Garrett fan, so I'm not in the dark on her. I've seen a lot of stuff from her. She was not only underused, she was used so poorly that it made her look like she wasn't a commodity in NXT, which was just weird because NXT again, usually set the standard of how to book a women's division. So it was very weird there. But yeah, one man's trash is another man's treasure. I don't know. I know she was seen backstage on AEW Monday, but I don't know that. I thought that what Brian told me the rumor was that she was probably Impact bound. I could be wrong. There is the open door, so who the hell knows? We saw Homicide show up on Rampage at Grand Slam as a surprise there. No LAX. We've seen Conan. We've seen Homicide. All we got to do is have Hernandez now, and it'll be a reunion. I'm all for that kind of stuff. I just think that you've spent so much time on bringing all these other people in that you haven't done what you're supposed to and make sure that the development is. You got the headlines. Now give us the substance. Now give us the goods. Santana Garrett is a gem. That's from Tony Lopez. You're not lying. I'm not disagreeing. Brian made a hard case for her, and I agreed for it. So I'm not sure. I'm going to do a little bit of plugs here for a second, and I'm not sure if I'm even plugging the right thing. Since Brian is gone for Full Faith Wrestling, I know for a fact that Rob and I will be back Monday for Monday with the Marks. But I do not know if Brian, between now and then, is going to do an All Elite Hour. So he might be, but we'll see there. Raleigh says Chelsea Green's going to be in AEW. It's in the news just to impress Tony Khan to be All Elite. Oh, yeah. I mean, Chelsea Green, she was one of those that I think that she might still be happy to this day in WWE had she not hurt herself during that initial push. When she got hurt and the whole Robert Stonebrand thing, it just was like, whatever they were doing with her, they're like, fuck it, forget it, you're gone. I don't know if there was something more that soured there, if they're just like, oh, you're injured, we don't have anything for you anymore, get back of the line. And when she came back, it didn't matter. But I don't know. Stike says Santana said she wants to work in Ring of Honor. Here's the thing, though, Stike. The way AEW is operating, she can work wherever the fuck she wants. That's the big draw. That's what Brian wins as the trump card all the time in the argument of why people would go there. Daniel Bryanson, if he had re-signed with Brian Danielson, fuck, I'm gonna fuck that name up forever. Brian Danielson, if he had re-signed with WWE, that was it. If he re-signed a 5-year career 5-year deal, that 5 years he could only wrestle where Vince allowed him. By going to AEW, he could do a one-off in NJPW. He could go wrestle in AAA. He could go to MLW. He could go to GCW. He could go to Full Faith and see Brian. He could go anywhere he wants. That's the appeal. They can sign a 5-year deal, but not have to worry about only wrestling this whatever you want to call it, this roster. You can fight anyone you want. And with the open door policy between all them, I still think that will implode at some point when Tony Khan keeps poaching talent from these other federations he has open doors with, because it's like, being able to talk to a free agent. Oh, I'm allowed to talk to him? Well, let me go, hey, if you were here, I could put you on my wall with all these other action figures I collected, and we could all hang out in catering together. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so, I read it wrong. Santana Garrett is best friends with Chelsea Green. So Santana's probably going to be on AEW, not Impact. Sorry, I read Raleig's comment wrong. Yeah, I mean, I don't know all that beyond the behind the scenes, and Tony adds in Charlotte Flair respects Chelsea Green. Yeah, I'm sure that's all great. The thing is that the community is much, much better. The community, aside from Vince and aside from Ring of Honor and whatever, has always been, for the most part, at least on the outside. I'm not part of it on the inside, but it looks like they've always supported one another, kind of pushed each other. I'll share this. Renee, John Moxley's wife, Renee Paquette, she still to this day is always talking about just wrestling in general. Like if somebody on WWE has a good match, when Big E won the championship, she was on Twitter congratulating him. Like, no, there is no Vince and Tony and AEW to some of these people, because they've all wrestled each other at some level. They all have some level of mutual respect. They know what they've gone through. Maybe they've even shared a rental car on the road, a hotel room, whatever. Like people, the workers of the business are just like any other athletes. Yeah, they may wear a jersey that says I'm an Atlanta Hawk or I'm a Boston Celtic, but at the end of the day, they could probably have been teammates when they were both back in the Utah Jazz roster. You know, who knows? So a lot of these wrestlers don't see much more than that. But back to the original point, AEW, that enticing offer is that they don't have to choose. It makes it big. Stike says Bryan Danielson stated that Vince gave him permission to wrestle for NJPW anytime he wanted. Okay, that's fair. Stike, did he also say he could wrestle for Ring of Honor, AEW, ROH? I mean, or not? I already said Ring of Honor. And Impact. I'm sure he didn't. So Tony said, "Yeah, you can wrestle all those." It's a different offer. Like with somebody like at Brian's level of career, it's just a total different thing. In any event, back to I got sidetracked by the board, which thank you guys for some questions here at the end. But we will be back Monday with the Marks, me and Rob on Monday. We will, of course, have Brian with us at some point. I believe he'll be back because his show is Saturday night with Full Faith. But he's going back to his old stomping ground in Long Island. Hopefully he doesn't run into Matt Cardona for Cardona's sake. I know he retired from his death matches, but Brian's got a death stare just waiting for him. I know it. And then we'll be back here next week to talk about the 2-year anniversary show for Dynamite. Pretty big stuff there. The card that's booked so far, we have the Elite in the 8-man tag match. And, of course, we have the, Shida and Thunder Rosa. Shida going for 50. So come back, tune in with us then. And if Brian does surface, which he might, you might get an all elite hour. But if you don't, you can satisfy your craving by coming back Monday with the Marks, me, Rob, and hopefully Bionic Brian. For Steve and Bob, I am Adam Baum. We'll see you next time. Same smart time, same smart channel.
Catch you on the flip side.
Marked Out Podcast is produced and edited by U-Record Studios and is recorded live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Subscribe, follow, and listen to us live following WWE programming on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Download the podcast by following us at podbean.com or subscribe on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. While you're there, go ahead and give us an honest and fair review and rating. Finally, if you have enjoyed our product and would like to see us grow, please donate to us by visiting the donation link below our live video, or you can donate via Venmo and Cash App at the handle Ravepro. That's RAVEPRO.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.